me remind North Game that this is the beginning of the liberation. I'm saying people first because their interest is what should serve first, not the interest of the individual. You see, we know that economics is the substructure of society and politics is the superstructure of the society. So if we cannot look into economic development, if we cannot look into social welfare, if we cannot look into some politics where cronyism and friendship advocating and solicit for asylum where North Game people under their cooperative can bring.
And a very good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you wherever it is you're tuning in from, and welcome to CPK TV, which is the voice of the people, Warwaki, which is a word in Luo meaning welcome, and also Marmahiga Manyen, which is Happy New Year 2022 to you, our viewers. And today we are coming to you live from Gem constituency, which is a constituency in Siaya County, and specifically North Gem. Today we have the member of County Assembly aspirant for the Communist Party of Kenya in North Gem, and his name is Okoth Oketch. He's going to tell us the order in which it comes as he introduces himself. I'm your host, Sefusani. Karibu sana, mheshimiwa kwa CPK TV.
Oh, thank you, Sefusani. Yes. Good evening to North Game people. Most Marmahiga Manyen, Happy New Year. My name is Okoth Oketch, popularly known as Fidel. I'm a member of the CPK, known as the Communist Party of Kenya. I'm not only a member, but also an aspirant for the member of County Assembly, and I'm happy to meet you today.
Thank you very much, Okoth Oketch, and of course you're known by other names such as Fidel because of how much you have read into the ideology of the Communist Party of Kenya. Maybe tell us about your journey into joining the Communist Party of Kenya and also the organization in North Gem.
Oh, thank you, Sefu. You know, I started being in love with the socialism or the socialist movement in Kenya long in 2015, when I met the currently vice chair of the Communist Party of Kenya, Engineer Bukangesa. So he introduced me to the party. Before it was the SDP, currently it's now known as CPK after its name was changed in 2019. Now I tripled a bit, yeah. Now, but then again in 2020, engineer contacted me and told me now, my comrade, we are serious with organizing the socialist movement, and now it's not only Social Democratic Party, but now it's the Communist Party of Kenya.
Yes.
Now that made me rethink my stand, and that's when I came into the Communist Party of Kenya under what is known as the Study Circle. By then it was known as the Asai Study Circle. And you know, in the party, when you move, when you grow ideologically, you also move from the ward level to constituency level. And now I'm a member of the constituency central committee, also known as Wasonga CJ. Back at home in my ward, which is North Game, I've been there. I've been living with the people. I've been interacting with them. And you know, as communists, we say that if you want to solve the problem of the people, you have to live among them. With them. You understand what is disturbing them. That is when you can come up with an amicable solution. So that's how I've been managing to organize and mobilize my people towards my candidature and towards supporting the Communist Party of Kenya in North Game.
Thank you very much. And you know, what brought forth your urge to vie for the member of County Assembly for the people of North Gem?
Thank you, Sefu. You know, Gem has been historically known as the cradle of knowledge. or of education. If you look back in history, in North Game specifically, you have the Chedomormon Kodek, also popularly known as Arguings Kodek. He comes from North. So Game has been known for people who are educated since then. But until 2013, until 2017, when we got the leadership which doesn't value education. So I've been looking back at history. And because, if you want to help the people, then first they need to have a background. And that background has to be one based on education. So you look at the leadership since the county government came, or the devolution came. We had Uzema in 2013. We now have Nikochola. These leaders don't value anything about the people. Look at health, look at education, look at agriculture. They don't value anything about people. So I'm saying people first. So for me to put people first, then I have to gain the political power.
Yes.
So the fact that we have people in government, both at the national level, the MP comes from my backyard, the MCA also comes from North Game there, and they are not doing anything about the people. So the fact that the people are behind in terms of development, in terms of social welfare, in terms of politics, that is what has urged me to stand and speak for the people. So I'm saying people first. People first.
And one of some of our ideologies in the Communist Party of Kenya, through most of the documents that we've read, is that for us to be able to change, or the ideas that we have come from our interaction with the people, and that is how we are able to bring the people up. But also, just that power also rests, with the masses and with the people. And with that, Okoth Oketch, I would like to ask about the ideas that you have for the people of North Gem, that, you want to liberate them. What are these ideas? And maybe, what is their origin?
Communism has been a great idea since its inception. In 1844 by Karl Marx. And we've known that communism is about the interest of the masses. And we say that our loyalty is to the masses.
Yes.
In the current regime, let me say, since 2007, we've had parties, also known as, they're calling themselves the Socialist Democratic, or the Socialist Parties.
Social Democratic Parties.
Yes. But they've been elected into power since time. There's no change they have brought. Actually, the changes they bring is for either individual or for their bosses, their party leaders. But you see, as a member of the Communist Party of Kenya, I've been with the people. I've seen the status of the road. They are pathetic. It's muddy.
Yes.
I've seen the bridges. Somebody builds a road, but there's no bridge. There's no culvert bridge. If you go to the hospitals, you see there are no medicine there. The hospital, there are no clinical officers because simply they have not been paid. Yeah, if you ask for prescriptions, they prescribe for you, but then they send you to the chemist, personal chemist, where the MCs are the owners. Now you see, if you go to the markets, they are open air markets. During the day, it's sunny. At night, there is no security. Actually, the women can't do business until late into the night. So once you live with the people, you'll understand what is disturbing them.
Yes.
So my presence being and living with the people of North Game has enabled me to understand the real challenges they are facing, and that's why I've actually decided to challenge the
status quo.
Yes.
Thank you very much, for even rising up and challenging this status quo. And recently we came for a launch in North Game where you were announcing your bid for the member of county assembly, or we met with some of your mobilizers rather in North Gem, and we saw that you have 23 polling stations in North Gem and 8 sublocations. And in the meeting that we had a representation from 20 of the mobilizers from the polling stations. Tell us about, that bringing all these mobilizers together and the work that they're going to do in the community for you as Okoth Oketch, and also for the larger, member of parliament aspirant for Gem, who is our vice chairperson, Engineer Buka Ngesa.
Our first correction, Sefu, there were not 20 mobilizers. They represented 20 stations.
Yes. I didn't say, no.
But now, going ahead.
Thank you.
The reason why they managed to turn up in their numbers, over 50, is because they understand who I am.
Yes.
I've been with them, they understand my personality. It is a name which belongs to them, they understand the name. So they are doing this work voluntarily.
Yes.
we are not bribing them. We know that there are other parties, when they want to do an activity, they bribe people.
Yes.
No, in Communist Party of Kenya, we are doing things transparently, honestly, and when we tell the people that we need you to do this for your own benefit, they turn up in numbers.
Yes.
So that is how I managed to bring up that large number as mobilizer. Again, for the case of the constituency seat, we know Honorable Engineer Bukangesa is a very well-known name in North Game. It's a brand. He's been there since 2013. Yeah, he contested, 2017 he contested. So the people know him. So whenever I tag my name along his, then the masses even manage to come up even in larger numbers, because now it's not only Okoth Oketch, but now it's Okoth Oketch, Engineer Bukangesa, and now the Communist Party of Kenya.
Yes. Thank you very much, and my apologies for that mishap. Of course, I intended to speak about the 20 representatives from the 20 polling stations, and not that there were 20 representatives. And thank you for bringing up the issue of development politics, or idea-based politics that the Communist Party of Kenya is doing in this area and in Kenya at large. But even when we speak about the development politics that the Communist Party of Kenya is doing in the area, we can't miss to speak about the issue of handouts, which is a very, it's an issue that is, all over the country because of the bourgeois politics, because of the corruption and the stealing of public funds that happens for people to come and vie, for elections by bribing the voters, which, we now call Gonya politics. How do you think you're going to combat the issue of Gonya in North Gem, seeing as a lot of the bourgeois politicians use this as a way to bribe the people so as not to bring development for them in the area? And of course, the people are hoodwinked because of the amount of poverty that they live in, and because of this, short-term way of solving their issues.
First, if you live with the people, you understand what is challenging them. So, Sefu, whenever I come from where I work from and I pass through the border stages, the only thing the people or the youths there ask you is, Mheshimiwa, give us 50 bob or give us 100 bob. If you go back to the markets, you want to buy some tomatoes, onions, they tell you, Mheshimiwa, leave us for us something, tuachie kitu kidogo. Now, this is not to their liking. They don't like what they are doing. But because of the poverty they have been subjected to by the past and the current regime, first look at the development. There's no development at all. Actually, the level of corruption has even, the only change we've had in game is now corruption has even risen to a higher level. Look at county government. There's no money, but then the people who work there, they are not being paid in time. Look at the clinical officer. So these are the things which subject these people to asking for handouts. But again, Sefu, I know you've asked how I'll deal with the handout issue or the Gonya politics. You see, first, I'm a youth. So the people, my constituents, have to understand that I'm a youth. I've never worked anywhere where I've stolen anything. I'm vying or I'm contesting transparently and honestly. Secondly, they have to understand that there's no tomorrow. We have to give our youth opportunity today. I'm youth. I'm there to represent the youth, but not only the youth. I'm also there to represent the mothers. I have a mother, I have a father. Yes. So if we have somebody who really understands the problem, the challenges of the people, and then we bring the people to unite. We unite them either under circles, under the cooperatives, like the border cooperatives. For example, I'm a member of the Kodiaga Young Traders, where the other day I recently contributed some small money. Yeah, because of what they proposed, it was a development agenda. So if we come together, join these youth in development projects, then that way we shall be helping them. So they'll also understand. Another example, when the other day I invited my comrade Engineer Bukangesa to Ndegwe Primary School. We talked to the people, we told them, because they also don't understand what is disturbing them or what the challenges they are facing. So we have to explain to them the challenges they are facing. Then the little we have, because we cannot say that we don't have, the little we have, we put in development projects like we did in Ndegwe, fencing the school. Yes. So you see, the few people who are not there or who came late were the ones rambling. But the people who are present when we were telling them the real issues and how we want to solve them understood and they really appreciated. So the only way we can finish this Gonya problem is by uniting the people in circles, talking to them and promoting their development agenda. Not talking to them, then we say, no, we'll bring you development, and then we tell them, line up, take 50 bob. For how long will that solve our road issues? For how long will that bring medicine in our dispensary? So with me as Okoth Oketch, as an aspirant in North Game MCA, I'll only deal with issues of development, and not only bring development, I also explain to them why I'm preferring development over over a day's solution.
Yes, and thank you very much. You know, previously I was laughing because you're saying that these people don't even know, you know, what is disturbing them, and it's really sad that we have such people in the society. But even as we speak about this Gonya, there's another issue that is coming up very loudly, the issue of poverty and indignity, where you say that these people they're begging for money, you know, because they do not have any other alternative, or because of the poverty that they have to go through, of course, which brings also an issue of indignity with poverty, because I don't think anybody likes to be in a position, you know, to beg. And now this brings me to another sad story of an area of North Game in Malanga, where recently we had a truck that overturned in that area, and a petroleum truck, my apologies. And at that time, a lot of people went to that petroleum truck to fetch, you know, the petroleum, not knowing that this truck would have exploded at any time. And it exploded, killing about 19 people in its debris who lost their lives because of poverty. Bringing this closer to the issue of socialism is that this really is a class struggle, and it shows the classes that we have, even in the rural areas where we have, you know, the class of people who are really struggling, my apologies, who are really struggling, ladies and gentlemen. And we call them Jochan now in Luo, which loosely translates to the people of the lower strata. And now we have the Jopur and the Jotich, who are the workers and the farmers, who are the people of the lower strata, the ones that are struggling. But these are the people also who are the working class in our society. And the Communist Party of Kenya is working very hard to, first of all, eliminate this class struggle and bring power to the masses, and not just power, but economic empowerment to these people. How are you going to bring economic empowerment to your people in North Gem, seeing that the issue of poverty is very rampant in the area?
Thank you, Sefu. You know, that's a very sensitive question you've asked. Yeah, the Malanga issue, where the tanker got an accident and 19 people died. Rest in peace, the people who were affected. But again, you see, the accident happened in the night. We come to wonder how the 19 people heard of the accident and even went to
the area.
Yeah, to, what can we say? To have the fuel. Eh?
To harvest it.
Yes. It is an issue of poverty. So the people are ready for anything which is free. Even right now, where we are sitting, in front there, if a lorry of bread gets an accident, you'll see even people from Sagam running to that place. You'll wonder how they've known. So if the ward where I'm coming from, the MP comes from that area, the MCA comes from next to where the accident happened, what did they do? They waited for the people to die, donate some coffins and 50,000, and then say, we've helped. No, that is not the solution. Where the accident occurred, there was a bumps, which was not marked. So whose responsibility is that? It's the MP, because he passes through that road daily. Yes. It's upon him to contact Kenha to mark the bumps.
Yes.
That is first. Secondly, he needs to empower these people. CDF gets an amount of over 100 million every year. Yes. What has he done with it? Dish it out to few women and few cronies who he hands out the tenders to. What about the MCA? He goes to the county, sits down with the Rasanga, then divides the loot among themselves. So without economic power, such accidents will continue to happen. So what will I do, or what economic development will I bring? First, you know, I understand that the county government has received small funds or little funds. So per ward, maybe I can receive around 30 million. That is not enough to bring development projects to liberate my people from the poverty or from the situation they are. But the little I will help. First, I've told you about organizing people into circles, cooperatives, like the one I've told you, the Kodiaga young traders. Let's pump money there. Those people will use that money to empower themselves. Secondly, youths just understand that you cannot have a company. No, it's a lie. Once you are 18 years and above, you are eligible to register a company in Kenya and do business with the government. So let's educate them about company. Let them win tenders, because we have 30% of audited revenue from the national treasury is supposed to be allocated to youth, women, and people with
disabilities.
People
living with disabilities.
So how many youth in North Game have ever won the tenders? None. So I will organize them into and give them what we call civic education, so that they can understand that not only those people who have looted money from somewhere else who are eligible to win tenders, even them. Kodiaga Young Traders is now a registered company. They will earn tenders from under my seat in county government.
Yes.
We also have the MP. I'll cooperate with the MP, revive the dead companies or industries like the Yala Ginari, the old Yala Ginari. Yeah, we had one at Panyako. So once we revive those companies, these young men and women will get employment. They'll have something to take home and avoid such disastrous scenes where they lose their lives. So let's not wait and be like the MP who waits for dead people to contribute and go there with the bouncers so that he can beat people. That's not the politics we are doing in CPK.
Thank you very much, even for speaking very passionately on that issue. And also, as you've spoken about now, the Member of Parliament for Gem area, who happens to come from North Gem and specifically from Mutumbu area. And we have seen that in this part of the country, there's a lot of politics of, party politics or certain brands having a hold in the area. And the reason why we have leaders who are elected into such positions of leadership but have no ideology for the people is because of this issue of a specific brand or a specific party. How do you plan to combat that in your area of North Gem? Also seeing as, maybe the party that you will be vying with is not a part of that brand, but it brings about an issue of change and development politics for the people.
Well, Kenyans are now awakening. Yeah, we are no longer in 1997 when Moi could say Kanu and people say Nyayo.
Yes.
We are no longer in 2007 where we could say 6 piece and now people do, by then it was 3 piece. We are no longer in 2013 when Raila could say 6 piece and 6 piece. What I'm saying, or what we are saying, is that Raila is a brand. Yeah, let's award him. We'll campaign for him and give him the seat of presidency. We at CPK, we don't have any candidate going for the presidency. So that is for Raila. But the people of Siaya have seen the disasters brought by the 6 piece
politics, where you have to vote somebody.
Yeah. And that's why Ugenya decided to bring another party. That is why now Game is even embracing CPK.
Yes.
ODM is no longer a popular party in Game.
Yes.
Yeah, CPK is. We've been walking from door to door. We've been organizing people in what we call study circles.
Yes.
We've been going to Bunge la Wananchis and we talk to them. We've been going to Boda. And people are saying now, let's give Raila his.
Yes, but
Hapa chini, let's mix. Because you know what? Even Githeri, if you want to enjoy Githeri, you don't cook maize, then you say you're eating Githeri. Or you don't cook beans, then you say this is Githeri. No, you have to mix. Now we are saying Raila will get his, but down here, we'll go for development-oriented people.
Yes.
And for North Game, that's why they have decided, and they're going to support me to win the MCSC.
Yes.
And in Game, we are not even going to say that, because the people have decided that this young gentleman who has struggled enough to say no to corruption in Game here, Honorable Buka Ngesa, is going to be the MP.
Yes.
So let them decide with the other seats. But because we are development-oriented people, that's why people have welcomed CPK, and that's why they are going to elect anybody who is under CPK, because CPK doesn't just dish out tickets because you have something small to give to somebody. Yeah, it is a rigorous process where you have to be tested. Do you know what really affects the people?
Yes.
If well, then we are going to support you. So that is it.
Thank you. Speaking of issues that affect the people, we spoke about Ndegwe sublocation in North Gem, which we visited a while back, and especially Ndegwe Primary School. And we were able to meet a few of the parents from Ndegwe Primary School and the teachers. But when we happened to visit the area in Ndegwe, the school was in such a dilapidated state, such that the classrooms did not even have windows. There were very few teachers in the area. The washrooms for that area were very little for the amount of population of children coming to that area, which of course leads us to see the strain that is, in the education sector in that area. What is your plan for the people of North Gem in terms of education for the people? And not just education, but world-class education where they can sit, in classrooms, where the children can be comfortable, where there's sanitation that, can easily access, where there is water, electricity in the schools. What is your plan on the issue of education?
Even as we speak now, I'm from the village. And before I left my house, 3 children came to me that they have been chased because they didn't have 50 bob for exam. At the same time, the government is telling us that there's free education, which is a lie. So the situation you saw in Ndegwe Primary School is not only in Ndegwe, it's everywhere. It's all over North Gem, it's all over Gem. And even it's a reality in Kenya as a whole. So education has been reduced to a commodity which can only be purchased or afforded by
the highest bidder.
Yeah. So the class struggle we are talking about is still real. Let's not privatize education to those people who have something. Education should be free to everyone, because a society without education is a society which is heading nowhere. So with me, education was devolved. But there's that bit which is under the CDF or the national government. There's that bit which is under the county. With me, I'll talk about ECDs and TVETs. ECD, or that is the basic.
Yes.
A child who is molded well in ECD is a child who is able or who is capable to be trained as a pilot, who is capable to be trained as a leader and be an MP somewhere. It's a child who is capable to be trained and do politics and be the president of Kenya. So I'll ensure that the ECDs in North Gem are well equipped, well built, and they have the necessary equipment for their teachers. And even the teachers need to be well remunerated. Otherwise, they won't attend to school in time. However, there's that bit of now the youth, the people who are paying taxes. We should, since 2013, there's no TVET which has been built in North Gem. Not Uzima, not Ochola. None of them has built any. So with me, I'll ensure that there are at least 2 TVETs or 3 in North Gem, so that the young people who are from class 8 can join the TVETs, technical vocational training, education training, so that they can get the necessary equipment, either as a plumber, as a mason, so that they can be able to fend for themselves after they get the training from the TVET. That has not been done until now. We see them being done maybe in wards like West Gem, in most of Ugenya wards, but why not in North Gem?
Yes.
Yeah. So for us to get world-class education, we have to establish our
ECDs and the TVETs.
And for those people who fail in the class 8 level, then they should be able to join our TVETs. That's my plan.
Thank you very much. And also now, as we are in the issue of social welfare, I'll deal with other issues there. First of all, I'll deal with the issue of health. And, very close to my heart and to the issue of women is the issue of maternity and the issue of us not having children or even mothers dying while they're giving birth, which is an issue that has been very rampant across the country. And, as you were talking earlier, you were telling me about the Nyamrerwas, who are the local midwives, and they are employed by the government, which is, I think, a very good, it's a very good way to bring them in. How do you plan to bring in more Nyamrerwas? That is one. And 2, to remunerate them well enough that they're able to do their job very well and to be able to be in at least each of the villages in those areas?
Well, health has been a very critical sector which has been thrown to the dogs. No governor, not even the president cares about those people who work under the healthcare unit. And that has now become a behavior or a character to the MCS. They also don't care about our health workers. You see, since Nico Chola, who is now the current MCA, assumed the seat of MCA of North Game, has built no dispensary at all. The only thing he has been able to do is to budget for fencing, perimeter fencing or walling of the dispensary, then he eats the money.
Yes.
Yeah. It's only the live fence which is there. So there's no facelifting, there's no equipment in the hospital, there's no medicine. So the other day I saw my shosho go to the hospital, she was given a prescription, then she's told, go to that chemist so that you can get a Panadol. Now there, one Panadol which costs 50 cents, she buys at 20 bob. What is that? Is it not theft?
It is.
Yeah, those are the people killing our sick men and women and young men. So about health is a very critical issue. You've asked about Nyamrerwas.
Yes.
Those are ladies, some of them are very aged. Yeah.
And they have
even some of them are beyond 60 years old, but they have volunteered to help in delivering health services in the village. They are walking on foot, no bicycle, no car, but they have decided to do that job. What has Sanga done under the watch of Nico Chola? He's been paying them 2,000 shillings per month. And that money comes after 6 months, not even frequently. It comes after a while. So if we are serious about Nyamrewas and to give them employment, or for them, or even a larger number to turn up to volunteer to do that job, then we should even increase the employment, the remuneration from 2,000 to something like 8,000. We've heard of the unemployed being paid 6,000 in the next government. Why don't we pay the employed something higher than 6,000?
Thank you. Do you think that the education for these Nyamreros is something that should be passed down to a larger group of people in the community so that we have different numbers of the Nyamreros spread across to be able to help so that they don't have to cross such large distances?
Self, I believe in science.
Yes.
Yeah, what they're practicing is something they learned. Scientifically, it's not been documented as something of that value. However, for those people who cannot manage the formal education, Nyamrerwa, they should get the informal education from Nyamrerwas. However, if we are serious with education and increase education and enable everyone to get education, then we will have Nyamrerwas who are educated and who can handle a scalpel, who can deliver professional services to the people, not somebody who comes there and gazes. So for now, if you can't read, then well, you can learn from them informally. However, my vision, or I believe the vision of socialism, is to have everyone educated, so that if you are a Nyamrerwa, then you have the professional, the scientific skills to deliver healthcare services.
Thank you. And still on the issue of social welfare is the issue of security in the area, and especially now if you're speaking about North Game, there are a lot of vigilante groups from the young men which, come up and they terrorize the people in the area, and there's a lot of insecurity, and this stems largely from the issue of youth unemployment. How do you think we can deal with such vigilante groups to bring security to the area, but also to be able to secure these young men and women financially and economically?
You see, the reason why a young man leaves his house at 10 p.m. to go and hunt, or to go and try to find something for the wife or for the children or for the mother, is because during the day the young man was idle, no economic activity was he engaged in, or she. You understand? So for us to reduce the insecurity, first we need to have food security. So if we are serious with agriculture, we bring, the county government should procure tried and tested seeds which can do well in game soils, because our soils are different from Oyoma soils, Ugenya soils, and the rest. So we should bring tried and tested seeds for the people of game and fertilizer, so that they can first go to the farms. Then we avail for them tractors at a cheaper rate for them to have to do better agriculture and have food. So once you have food in the house, then everything which drives a man to hustle or to go and work is about stomach affair, the material situation. So if you have food in the house, then even if you have surplus, you can go exchange some in the cooperatives we are talking about. And of course, I'll build a silo for the North Game people where they can bring their surplus and have some money. But if you don't have food security, then the other insecurity will be there. People will be stealing cows at night. They'll be breaking into stores and be stealing things.
So, in short, the insecurity comes up because there is no food security,
yes,
which of course can be set right if the agriculture in the area is developed well.
Yes.
And we see that one of the people who was a paragon of brains and came from the area of North Gem is the late Senior Chief Odera Akango, who did very well in taking care of the environment and in planting trees in the area of North Gem, such that even when you traverse that area, then there's a lot of forests. And the people of North Gem receive very good rainfall throughout the year. That is very good for agriculture. How else do you think that this rainfall can be harnessed by the people of Gem?
Well, you know, for the county government, the ability we have is only maybe to drill boreholes and pump the water to tanks, reservoir tanks, and then which can be pumped, or the people can fetch. That is what is under the county government. However, we've seen Elisha under his watch, the water has been coming from Ndano waterfalls, which is from River Yala, passing through the game soils. Actually, we are providing land for the pipes to pass through, to go to Bondo and Siaya. So the rainfall, you know, that has saved. Because instead of doing irrigation from boreholes which are dug or from seawall water, then the people have reliable rainfalls. Actually, in Game, we receive reliable rainfall during the 2 seasons we have. So what we should do is those people who are capable of harnessing the water through the smaller tanks they have, they should do. However, we should only do scientific timing of the rainfall so that we do agriculture according to the seasons where we receive rainfall. Because not everyone can access or can afford the water tanks. However, I don't know if the funds shall be availed in more or in larger quantities. But if we have enough funds, then we should be able to build reservoir tanks like the one we see in Yala, so that the people can have water even during the dry seasons or dry months like this January.
Is that something that you think, as the member of county assembly, can be part of your manifesto?
Of course, it should be possible because we have the fund. However, lack of budgeting or lack of thinking by our county legislators is what is bringing us to this situation. They should be able to introduce a bill in the county which enables at least everyone to have a water reservoir tank where you can pump the water to those people who don't have tapped water.
So is this a bill that you want to pledge to the people of North Gem, that once you get in?
Yeah, I'm going to push for that.
Yes, and we'll hold you accountable to that. And what other measures of environment preservation, apart from the planting of trees that we have seen, you know, from those years of Odera Akango, do you think can be employed in North Gem for us to be able to preserve our environment? You
know, the Senior Chief Odera Akango did well. He planted trees which are older than even my father. They are still visible there, they have been seen, but the current chiefs are cutting them down for their own individual interest of burning charcoal. So what should we do? You know, as a county, we have the forestry department. We should avail those trees which take at least 5 to 7 years to the people so that they can plant. We have more forest, because without forest, then we are going to be like Wajir. We are not going to experience any rain. In North Game, we don't have any mountains. And you know, also mountains play a major role in bringing rain. So what we can simply do is to plant more trees so that we can maintain the rainfall level we are receiving now. Otherwise, we are going to be like those counties where water is like gold. And speaking about, you know, charcoal, is this... It seems like a very easy means of energy for the people. Are there any other means of energy that can be employed in North Gem so that it combats the burning down of these trees and gives people accessible energy to be able to use as fuel, for example, so that they don't have to burn down trees for charcoal? Yes, you know, we are in a modern world. We should not say we are a developing country while we can still see a mango tree and leave it in peace. Whenever a young man or an old mzee sees a tree, that is charcoal. So what should we do? In Ugunja, we have biogas, where gas cylinders are being filled. Why not in Game? So we have so many cows in Game, for instance, in North Game. We have so many cows. We have enough grass. The cows are grazing on the grasses. but then the cow dung are just left along the road. We should collect this in maybe a central place, introduce our biogas system so that we can be filling cylinders and provide them to the people at a cheaper rate.
Thank you very much. One of the issues that is in the manifesto of the Communist Party of Kenya is the issue of eliminating tribe and, you know, tribal wars in the area. When we look at North Gem, it borders very much with the Luyas in Kakamega, and sometimes there's a bit of tribal conflict in that area. As a member of County Assembly, how can you bring about harmony, or what are your plans to be able to bring about, you know, harmony for the people of North Gem who are, you know, living from different tribes or ethnicities, if I may use that?
Well, luckily, such kind of tribal hatred has not been witnessed in my ward, nor even in the constituency. But that doesn't exclude the fact that it can be there. What brings that tribal hatred is the tribal politics which our national leaders bring into play. So if we continue telling the people that what troubles them is not the politics, what troubles them is not their neighbor, what troubles them is the elected leaders who they take there to the national seats or the assembly, the county seats, but then squanders their taxes, then they'll stop hating each other, then hate the elected politician. So if my plan is to bring them together through first giving them development. You know, somebody whose stomach is filled up is not an angry man, but a hungry man is an angry man. So if you tell him, you know, your lunch or your supper was taken by your neighbor from lowland, then he'll carry a panga, go attack the other person. So first, let's bring some politics into play. There's nothing like lawyer, like Luo. The only tribe we have here are thieves, or we call them the bourgeois. And the people who are working hard back at home.
Yes.
The mamas, the mamambogas, the vijanas who are doing border and the rest. So that's the only tribe we know in Kenya. Once that is done, then everyone will be okay. So what we do is give them economic empowerment. No lawyer, no Luo, no Kisi will attack each other.
Thank you very much for even speaking about and debunking that very well. We've seen a lot of natural resources in North Gem. For example, the gold that is in Sirembe and the mining of it. We also see some gravel that is in North Gem as well that harnesses into Maram that is taken into Kakamega. How do you think you will work to be able to use these natural resources to be able to provide employment or economic opportunities for the people of North Gem?
You know, North Gem is a very blessed ward, if I can say, because there we have resources. We have the gold mining at Sirembe. We have quarry site at Otok. We have the quarry site at Gotregea and Kukwiri. All that goes into the brokers or the few who can own. So once, if we can organize these people, have a circle, have a cooperative society, so that the broker can be kicked out. Then first, these people will be fetching the right or the correct market price of the resources they've mined. Secondly, you see things like gravel, which are being mined by His Excellency Oparanya to go and maram his roads of Kakamega. Those roads can even last 3 years without refurbishment. But you see, the one which passes along my home has been done thrice in a year. Why? Because we leave our precious resources to go to other places, but then we use the substandard one. So the only thing we can do about this is first organize these people into society, so that when somebody mines, let's say 2 grams of gold, then he takes it to somewhere, a circle. Another one gets 10 grams of gold. He takes it so that it can gain some weight, it can gain some quantity, which can be marketed with the international pricing. Otherwise, if we leave them to mine and then sell them at the peasant prices, then they're not going to get any help. That's why we are seeing their Bimbo their Bimbo mine. People right there, but they cannot be helped because they didn't have any proper structure governing them. So if we have a proper structure governing the mines at Sirembe, then the people shall really reap from whatever economic activity they're doing at those sites.
And speaking about people, your slogan is people first. And of course, that would mean that you want to bring people into public participation to get their problems from their people and to be able to solve them. One of the issues that we have seen even at the national level is the issue of the Uhuru Park, which was closed down and construction started without any public participation, of course, which has been a big issue for the Communist Party of Kenya. And bringing that home, how do you think, how will you, as an MCA, work with the people, as you're saying, to put the people first, to bring their participation in your politics for North Gem?
Well, you see, the politics we are seeing currently all over Kenya is politics of cronyism, politics of friendship, politics of tribalism. Of business. Politics of business. That is what has reduced the people to the level they are. So whenever we are talking about public participation, is that we are putting the people's interest, or we are giving them the chance to tell us what is troubling them. If somebody needs water, but then you come there with the pens or books, then you are not solving his or her problem. So what I'm saying is that as an MCA, I'll give the people first, I'll give them first the chance to come together publicly and participate in decision making. So for example, if I go to a site sublocation, I'll bring all the stakeholders of a site sublocation. That means I'll bring all the bodabodas, teachers, farmers, if there are miners there, I mean miners, huh? Yes. And any other, if there's the disabled group, Nyamreruas, clinical officers, and all those people, they have to come there. We sit down, we make decision. So according to priority, in economics, we talk of list of preference. We have to have a list of preference of their side people. Yes. So after their participation, we'll see which one has the weight. Then we implement accordingly in order of preference. Priority. You see? So that means we are putting the people first. So we serve what? We serve the interests which they put first. However, if to be like the other people you are seeing in power right now, they call a few friends from North Game. They sit down in a little game there, then ask them, you, Onyango from Ndere, what do you lack there? If you give me a borehole, then at least I'll make 1 million. And you, Tieno from Mutumbu, what do you need? Just give me an ECD class, I'll make some 2 million. No, that is not the people. That is, you are empowering your cronies. And that's business politics. And that is theft from the people. You're not putting the people first. Yes, and that is what is disturbing us there with the current thief or a chola, yes. Thank you. How do you plan to work with the MP of GEM, Engineer Bukangesa, when you two people are in your seats specifically? Luckily, Honorable Engineer Bukangesa is from the Communist Party. So that is first an advantage for the North Game people. At least their MCA is from the same party the MP is coming from. Secondly, we understand each other. I know what troubles North Game. Buka knows what troubles Game. So the little funds under the county, which I'll be soliciting from the county government, I can do few things for North Game, because I know it cannot exceed maybe around 30 million or somewhere there. But Buka will be having over 100 million for not only East, South, the other wards, but also for North Game. So it means if I give 100 children bursaries from the county government, then I should tell Buka that I have 200 students. Then the other 100, let them have CDF bursary. That is a plus for North Game. There are roads which are under the national government. We call them Kera roads. Then I should tell Buka, the road from Kodiaga, passing through Sirembe, towards Fuludi, is in bad status. Can you try to degazette the road so that it can be tarmacked? And then he says, yes, comrade. Yeah? So, if you understand each other, then working hand in hand is good. The problem we are facing in North Game right now is that the thief, who is the MP, doesn't have leadership skills. That is why he's not even in good terms with the other thief in the MCSC. They are not in good terms. Now you see, somebody is saying that don't step Mutumbu. Yeah? Don't step Mutumbu. You MCA, don't step Mutumbu. And the MCA governs where the MP comes from. And the MCA also says don't step Londa here, you see. So that lack of harnessing,
cohesion.
That lack of cohesion is what is bringing North Game down. The MCA and the MP should work hand in hand so that the North Game people can benefit. You know,
yes.
We are saying if two bulls fight, then it's the grass
that is going to suffer.
I don't want to see that. With me, I'll try my best, and because I know my MP is somebody of good understanding, and I'm also, so we'll bring development to North Game people.
Thank you very much. Recently, you had a not so good experience with the police, and you experienced what I would call police brutality. What would you say about the issue of police brutality that has been rampant even around the country, you know, to the different people, to young people? Tell us your view on that.
Well, you know, the problem with our policemen, before it was the police force.
Yes.
Now it's the police service. The men and ladies there are forgetting that they are still in the police force. Yeah. So before it could be, maybe you can run, then come. You have all of your teeth, then come. But right now in the service, we should be having
educated people.
Ladies and gentlemen who are educated, actually in the humanity field. They should be able to deal with the humanity. They should be able to provide the service we are calling. That's why it is police service. But you see, the other day, because my comrade is educated, he could speak English, and the policeman could not understand even a sentence. So now they are saying you are insulting us. Now that's the problem we are facing with the police service currently. We should be having them trained. I know maybe they failed in Form 4, but they should be able to be trained in languages so that they understand. Because not, you know, we are no longer in 1992 when you could have 20% educated. Nowadays, Kenyans are educated and they only speak in English and pure Kiswahili. Now the policemen should not expect anything less than that. We'll be speaking in English. No, it's upon them to understand what we are saying. So the brutality I saw is not even something of a big deal. It was due to language barrier. And that's why education should be
at the topmost, and that is why it is in your manifesto and also the manifesto of the aspirant of Gem constituency. Thank you very much, and maybe I'll just let you have a parting shot to the people of North Gem on this camera, where you tell them about who you are and what you want to give them and why they should elect you. It's your chance.
Thank you, Sefu. It's been a nice conversation with you, but let me remind North Game that this is the beginning of the liberation. I'm saying people first because their interest is what should be served first, not the interest of individuals. You see, we know that the economics is the substructure of the society and politics is the superstructure of the society. So if we cannot look into economic development, if we cannot look into social welfare, if we cannot look into super politics where cronyism and friendship is put aside, then North Game is still going to be behind. For instance, I'll look into things like trade. Agriculture will be my priority. And I failed to mention, I'll be advocating and solicit for a silo where North Game people under their cooperative can be bringing their harvest. So those are among my development agenda. Roads, trade, where you see a market like the Kodiaga market, which was established in 2019, until now has not been completed. So I look into modern markets by the county government, roads, trade, education, healthcare, and finally education. So North Game, if you elect me under the Communist Party of Kenya, I know I'll deliver. If not 90%, then 100%. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Okoth Oketch. It was a pleasure having you on CPK TV and hearing your voice going straight to the people. And of course, we will put people first, which we always do as the Communist Party of Kenya. And to you, our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in to CPK TV, which is the voice of the people and where we always put people first.
CPK.
Nyundo.
CPK.
Nsumeno.
CPK.
Okwabi Yegni.
Thank you.